The Great Dead Fish Protest, a salmon's last stand in Parliament in the grand halls of Australian federal Parliament, where suits and ties are the norm. Something fishy was about to go down, literally. Greens Senator Sarah Hanson had entered the chamber, not just armed with her usual passionate arguments, but with a silent yet smelly companion, a dead salmon. The day had started like any other political showdown, filled with heated debates, eye rolls, and that signature parliamentary background noise of low grumbles and murmurs. The topic of the day: controversial legislation that aimed to protect Tasmania's salmon industry in Macquarie Harbour. Now, most Australians would have probably yawned at the mention of salmon farming legislation, but Hanson had a plan. A plan so outrageous that it would make front-page news and have political commentators scratching their heads while holding their noses. As discussions went back and forth, with politicians doing their usual dance of blaming, counter-blaming, and throwing around words like bipartisan support and environmental integrity, Hanson decided it was time. She reached under her desk, and with the flair of a magician revealing a rabbit from a hat, she pulled out a large, very dead salmon wrapped in plastic. The chamber fell silent. For a moment, everyone was processing what was happening. Was this really happening? Yes, it is, Hanson seemed to say with her defiant stance. She held the fish up like it was Excalibur, ready to strike down the evil forces of industrial salmon farming. The speaker's jaw dropped. A few MPs chuckled. Others squirmed in their seats, suddenly very aware of their breakfast choices. But Hanson wasn't here to amuse. Well, at least, that wasn't the main goal. She had a point to make, and she was going to make it in the most unforgettable way possible. On the eve of an election, have you sold out your environmental credentials for a rotten, stinking extinction salmon? She declared, her voice filled with righteous fury. Somewhere in the distance, a journalist choked on their coffee. The dead fish wobbled slightly in her hand, as if it too was protesting against its unexpected role in Australian politics. The speaker immediately intervened. Senator Hanson removed the fish. But the senator wasn't going to let go just yet. She waved it around for emphasis, and at that moment, a camera flash captured the bizarre sight: an Australian senator, in the hallowed halls of democracy, passionately arguing for environmental protections while holding a limp, lifeless salmon like a gladiator in an ancient arena. "Remove the fish, Senator," the speaker repeated, clearly questioning all of his life choices that had led to this moment. With a dramatic sigh, Hanson reluctantly complied, placing the salmon back into whatever dark, smelly void it had come from. The chamber exhaled in relief. But the fishy chaos wasn't over yet. Earlier that same day, Tasmanian Greens Senator Peter Whish-Wilson had taken things into his own hands, literally. While Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was minding his own business, probably contemplating policies, and the eternal mystery of why parliamentary coffee always tastes terrible, Whish-Wilson approached him in an impromptu protest. Now, when one hears impromptu protest, images of picket signs, chants, and serious discussions come to mind. But no, Whish-Wilson had opted for a much more direct approach. He called the government a pack of mongrels, straight to the Prime Minister's face. Albanese blinked. The security detail tensed. Somewhere, a PR consultant started drafting emergency spin strategies. The Prime Minister, to his credit, didn't respond with outrage or a dramatic gasp. Instead, he gave a small, knowing smile, the smile of a man who had seen a lot of strange things in his political career, but was still surprised to add random fish-related insults to the list. Meanwhile, social media was having a field day. Within minutes, the hashtag #Fishgate was trending. Memes flooded the internet. Hanson holding the salmon photoshopped onto historical paintings, Whish-Wilson's pack of mongrels captioned over images of clueless Labrador puppies, and even a short animation of the salmon itself giving a speech in Parliament. One Twitter user wrote, "Imagine explaining to someone in another country that in Australia, politicians bring dead fish to debates." Another replied, "At this point, I'd be more shocked if they didn't." The news cycle went wild. Some called it a powerful environmental stand. Others called it ridiculous. Salmon sales briefly dipped as Australians suddenly felt uneasy about their dinner plans. A local seafood market put up a sign reading, "No political protests with our fish, please." In the following days, talkback radio hosts debated the event with the intensity of a grand final match. One caller, clearly unimpressed, said, "What's next?" Someone bringing a live kangaroo to protest land clearing. Another caller, with a much more enthusiastic tone, suggested, "If politicians had to literally bring in what they're debating, imagine the chaos." Talking about dairy farming? Bam. Cow in the chamber. Debating the housing crisis? Bring the whole house in. While the legislation passed the House of Representatives with bipartisan support, the protests had achieved one undeniable thing: nobody was going to forget this debate anytime soon. And somewhere in the quiet of a fridge, or a bin somewhere, lay the most politically significant salmon in Australian history, its mission complete.